Ajayi stayed inside this room in translating English Bible into Yoruba. Once again, you are welcome to the first story building in Nigeria. There is the signpost showing the first story building in Nigeria, built between 1842 to 1845. So we'll go in now to know more about this story building we are talking about. Yes, you're welcome to the premises of the missionaries. As I've said earlier, here we are. We have the very first story building in Nigeria, known as Mission House. Mission House for the missionaries. This was where the missionaries lived when they were posted from England to preach the gospel in this country, Nigeria. It was here that Christianity started in this country, Nigeria. And also, it was inside this story building was Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther translated English Bible into Yoruba Bible in 1845. And other missionaries that also lived here include Reverend Henry Townsend, the very first CMS missionaries that was posted to this country, Nigeria, before the arrival of others. I mean, Reverend C.A. Goma and the rest. When we go in, we will see more and know more about the mission house of the early missionaries who brought Christianity to this country, Nigeria.
So, sir, can you take us in?
Yes.
So, sir, from the pictures we see online and from what we saw in the signpost, the building was erected with wood. But what we are seeing now is more of block. You know, we are into the new age now. So as technology was advancing, this house was renovated and block were used to build it.
I will tell you more when we get inside.
Okay.
Because I must show you the proof of what you just asked now,
Okay, sir.
so that you can believe and understand what I have told you. Now let's go inside now. Let's go in to assess those things that we have inside. Now, to start with, we have the geographical architecture map of this four-story building as at 1843. This was how the compound looked like then, including the missionaries' farmland. They also used farming, agriculture as a means of evangelism as at then. So we have the four-story building here at the middle, and we also have other different 10 structures in place as at then, including the church, the first Seventh church built in Badagry here. You will get to see the picture of the very first Seventh church that was built in 1843. Let's go in to also see the rest. Yes. Here we have the room where we have the materials that was used to build this four-story building. You were asking me a question before that the picture you saw different from what you are seeing as at now. Now, the very first CMS church Storey building was built as a mission house, was built with local materials. Because of the urgency, when they arrived this country, Nigeria, they have to look for where the missionary must abode. So they quickly lay hand on the available materials. Then they built it with local materials. There's a very one built, but later it was now converted with foreign materials. Why and how? The reason why was that there was contention between the missionaries, early missionaries, and slave merchants, because slave merchants has been in place, has been on ground even before the advent of early missionaries. So they were into business, profit-making organization. And while missionaries arrived, they came to liberate this country, Nigeria, and to extend Christianity to us here. And their mission differs. While the missionary mission affecting the slave merchants, they now began to attack one another. So because of their security, so they have to convert the house with the foreign material so that their life can be secured, because they were attacking one another with guns. Because while the missionaries were distorting the business of the slave merchants, so that is why they now convert the house with foreign materials, which includes burnt bricks. These are the burnt bricks used. Then you can see the bricks on the floor, and also they also make use of hinges. These are the hinges used to mount the doors and the windows, but many of them have been replaced. And also the nails that were used then. If you see the nails used then, compare with the one we are using now, you can see different. There's very different between both. And also the roofing sheet used in roofing the house. This is spear, the cutter of the roofing sheet used to roof the house. We call it iron corrugated sheet. Iron corrugated sheet. This house consists of 6 bedrooms, 2 rooms, and 4 stores. Let's see the full sheet of the iron corrugated sheet, and also compare to the new one we're having today. Now here we have the iron corrugated sheet. You can touch it, feel it, feel it, feel it, do it. But this is the one we are using now.
This one is not strong.
It's not strong like this. You see, the engineers in this country, when they visited this place to confirm this iron corrugated sheet, they said 10 of this we make one of iron corrugated. And others, missionary visited, some engineer visited from England and says, Reverend, it's not 10, it's 15 of this we make one of iron corrugated. And that's the roofing sheet we are still having up there to date. And we bought this roofing sheet 1980. If you see the one we are using now presently, is more even lighter than the one we are having here now. And the house was decked with plank. This is spare of the plank that was used to deck the house. It's not concrete, no 1842 plank that missionary used. Let's move further to see other things that we have.
So is this one of the stores?
Yes, Laborer store. Here we are at the very first missionary sitting room. You can see this. I told you earlier that the house was built with bricks, was converted with bricks. You can see it. For you to confirm that it is truly built with bricks, that is why this one was done like this, for your assurance. And also, here we have a painting of a tree called the historical Agia tree. The Christianity that survived in this country, that we are celebrating today, is at 180 years anniversary of Christianity and Anglicanism in this country, started under this tree.
The
Agia tree. The very first missionary to arrive this country was Reverend Thomas Batfilmer, who represents Western Methodists, before the arrival of Reverend Henry Townsend, who represents CMS Missionary, Church Missionary Society, Anglican Church. He arrived this country, Nigeria, December 17th, 1842. December 17th, 1842. And both Reverend Henry Townsend and Reverend Thomas Batfilmer, a Methodist, celebrated the first Christmas under the tree. They preached under the tree and celebrated Christmas under this same tree in 1842. This tree lasted for 350 years and the tree fell. The tree fell on June 20, 1959. June 20, 1959 at exactly 11:59 p.m. on Saturday night. Yoruba call the seed of this tree Awin. Igbo call it Icheku. Please pardon me, I don't know what they call it in Hausa language, but children call it Liki. You must be familiar with Liki. You know Liki very well.
Yes.
They have one black seed. When you open it, you see something like vitamin C inside. That's what we call Liki. When the tree fell, a monument was erected in the place of the tree. Here we have the picture of the monument that was erected in spot of where the tree was then. This is what we have at the side, in the side now. Another development is going on right there, right now there, that is different from the one we have in this picture. And also, let's proceed to the other rooms.
So these rooms are since
1842.
And they are strong.
Yes, to date, since 1842. And now we are now in the room of the very first Western teacher in Nigeria. Christianity that we are celebrating today does not even come alone. There are some benefits attached to Christianity, most especially Anglicanism. How? They introduced Christianity unto us. Not only that, they were the ones that also introduced Western education, health service, and also agricultural science. That is the reason why you saw the farmland of the missionary on that map that I just showed you earlier. So this was the room of the very first Western education teacher, Mr. Gladius Felix. He was among the missionaries that arrived this country from Sierra Leone to extend Christianity. So he was one appointed to teach our fathers Western education. So he was one that taught our fathers. I keep on repeating our fathers because Western education started with the enrollment of 40 men. They were all grown-up men. The youngest among them was 45 years old. 45 years old. And they spent 12 good years in primary school. Most of them were used as teachers in other schools established. They were also used as catechists. They were used as evangelists on mission field to spread the gospel. So, Gladius was the first teacher in Nigeria. The school was established in this compound in 1843, named Nursery of the Infant Church. But later, in 1843, they also established boarding school for the children because they have to consider children as well. So they now established boarding school for the children. So they now relocated men from this compound to their permanent sites. They built larger classrooms for the men and now relocated them there and renamed the school after the first missionary. And they named the school St. Thomas Primary School in 1845. And this picture happened to be the first primary school established in Nigeria by CMS missionaries. Let's move further. We are moving, and let us also watch all the walls. You can see the bricks run. Now we have a report of the man in charge of the construction of this Storey building. Reverend C.A. Goma was the one in charge of the construction. He gave reports of what they have used, the size, the breadth, and the wideness of this Storey building. It was Church of Canterbury that sponsored the construction of this Storey building for the foreign missionaries. So, and the man gave account. He said, the house is built of sound African wood. You cannot believe me, that the very first one that I said was built with local materials. This was the report of the man, was built with African wood. And what also amazed me most about this report was that he said it is 10 feet raised from the ground. The foundation of this house was 10 feet raised from the ground. How many feet are we using now? 3, at most 4 at the swamp areas, but they use 10 feet. Why we don't say that this house will not stand till now? They consider future while they were putting this structure in place. And they also gave account of the total cost of this house. As at then, 1845, he said it cost £325. £325 was the total cost of this house as at 1845. These are the structures that was in place in the map that I show you then. So we are going upstairs now to the room of Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther. Now we have this staircase renovated 1990. And I want to welcome you to Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther Bible Store. This was Ajayi Crowther Bible Store, served as his own library, then where he kept his Bible translated, both English and Yoruba. All these were old, very old Bibles then that we are having here. One funny thing about here is that one student also donated this one, that he also want to make his own input, that he's donating this Bible, regard that he also have contributed to Ajayi Crowther Bible Store library. That is why you are seeing this one there. Now let's go to Ajayi Crowther's room. Now, I want to welcome us to the room of Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther. Ajayi stay inside this room in translating English Bible into Yoruba. Ajayi was exactly 12 years old when he was captured as a slave during slavery. Then, when Fulani slave traders raided Oshogun village during slave trade, he was a native of Oshogun. He's saying local government in Oyo State. When Fulani slave trader raided Oshogun then, and Ajayi and his family was captured as a slave. Later, they were marched to Iseyin market to be sold. Ajayi was not being sold, but he was used for exchange of a horse to Portuguese slave trader then, and was taken captive to Freetown, Sierra Leone. When he got to Sierra Leone as a slave, among millions of slaves, a missionary man called Crowder noticed Ajayi among others, and he adopted Ajayi as his own son, not his own slave again, as a son. Because while he adopted Ajayi, he took him to Furabe College, Sierra Leone in 1827 to be educated. He happened to be the first student to be admitted when this college was established in Sierra Leone as at then. Later, the man took Ajayi to England to further his education, where he studied language and history in university. And also, when Ajayi graduated, he was admitted to theology school, where he was trained and ordained as full priest. When Ajayi was priested in England, he was transferred from England to Sierra Leone, spent a few months there, and later transferred back to Nigeria, where he played a role of an interpreter. When Reverend Henry Townsend arrived in this country, he saw the need of certain people who will be useful on the mission ground. So Ajayi and the rest were the one that was sent from Sierra Leone to Nigeria for the mission. So he played a role of an interpreter for the foreign missionaries. That is why he was also privileged to translate English Bible into Yoruba. He was also the one that also translated English Bible into Igbo and also Hausa language. It was this same Ajayi that was translated, that also wrote Anglican prayer book called Book of Common Prayer that we use. In fact, only Ajayi could speak 19 local languages fluently. 19 local languages fluently. A slave boy who has no future, who don't know what can happen to him in the next future, but by grace of God became a priest. Not only a priest, in 1864, this same Ajayi was consecrated the first African Siamese bishop in 1864. He was the one that also gave the report of the piece of land that was allocated for the missionaries when they were in Badagry here. The prior said earlier that they also use agriculture as a means of evangelism. So you can see the total landmark, 210 feet wide and 280 feet long, belonging to CMS. And most of those places are being encroached now. We plead of our primate to also use his good office to get back our land for the CMS church. Alican Church here in Badagry. Let's move further. We also have his picture here. We have something about him. And also, this picture indicates Ajayi Crowder, but the man behind him wasn't his son or his relative. He only worked with Ajayi Crowder. His name was Babinti Macaulay. Babinti Macaulay worked with Ajayi Crowder on mission field, but later got married to Ajayi's daughter, who was Abigail Crowder. So that Abigail Crowder that gave back to Herbert Macaulay. The one picture in one naira coin was grandson to Ajayi Crowder. Now we are at the second sitting room of the missionaries. We have the pictures of the missionary, Reverend Thomas Badfirma, Reverend Henry Townsend. Both of them were the ones that first preached celebrated Christmas in 1842 under a tree called Agia tree. And Reverend C.A. Goma. This was the first CMS missionary that first arrived in this country before others. And this is Reverend C.A. Goma who completed this construction of this Storey building. See this mission house. And we also have the role. This was the role played by the missionary in abolition of slave trade. They were the ones that stood against slave trade in this country, Nigeria. And this cause was championed by Reverend C.A. Goma, that slave trade must stop in this country, Nigeria. Prominent people, the high chief, the kings in Yoruba land and the rest, also signed this document that slave trade must stop in this country. And this MOU was signed in 18th March 1852. 18th March 1852. We also have another picture here that indicates the typewriter that Ajayi Crowther used while he was translating the English Bible into Yoruba. You can see him with others in that picture. Let's go further. This was the picture of early missionary. We have prominent people who were buried at the venue. You can see few of them that was mentioned there. You can see their detail here, among others. And also, one of their chair that they used to sit there, one of their chair. And we also have here the first CMS church built in Nigeria, here in Badagry, as at 1843. If you look at the map vividly, you will trace this church, whether it is true or not. You can see the church at Badagry. This was the very first CMS church built in Nigeria in 1843. Also here, we have the safe. We have the safe of the missionaries. This was where they kept their money and other valuables. This was also fireproof. No matter what happened, every document here will be saved. This safe was constructed in 1856. And here we have some of the coin that was spent then. We have cowries. We have chili, we have penny, we have 1/2 penny, we have 1 kobo, 10 kobo, 5 kobo, 1 naira, and the rest. That is 10 kobo you are holding. That is 1 pound. That is 1 pound. 2 naira. That is 3 cents. That is 1/2 penny. I see 1 penny. So, and we also have other notes for the privilege of those younger one who have no privilege to spend the old coin. We have old 1 naira. Old 1 naira. When Nigeria is still Nigeria, this 1 naira is competing with pound. But now, reverse is the case, because this 1 naira is competing with 1 pound when Nigeria is still Nigeria. As at then, dollar is nowhere to be found. But now, reverse is the case. Dollar have taken over. And we also have here, 5 kobo.
50 kobo.
This 50 kobo. 50 kobo. See? And this one
50 kobo.
50 kobo also. And here we have 5 naira. Also have 5 naira. All these are recent one. 10 naira. But not all our kids spend it. 10 naira and the rest. And also this one also 5 naira recent.
So this is 1 naira.
We have all these 5 naira. Now we are going downstairs to the Miracle Well. Going downstairs to the Miracle Well, the first CMS well in Nigeria. Let's move towards this as is.
So we are going to the Miracle Well.
Yes, we are going to the Miracle Well. You can touch the roofing sheet to confirm the one you have saw before. You see, the one I showed you before. Now let's go to the Miracle Well. Here we have the first CMS well. The first CMS well dug in 1842, called Miracle Well. How does it become a miracle well? Now, since when missionaries have dug this well in 1842, the water in has never run dry. No matter how the dryness, you will always find water inside this well. We are familiar with 2 different types of water in Badagry. We have lagoon, we also have Atlantic Ocean. Lagoons changes color twice in a year. Any color you see in lagoon, that is the same color you will also experience in all other way in Badagry. And also Atlantic Ocean takes salty. That is the same taste we also experience in all other way in Badagry, except this one. This was the cleanest water that some people as drinkable water. Even the missionary then, even to date, we are still drinking the water. We tagged this well the very first CMS well because that was their first project when they arrived this country, Nigeria. Now, the tourists who do visit this place now said, since the water in doesn't dry, doesn't get polluted, there must be a power behind the water. That the power of God will be the source of the water. And also the anointing of the missionaries who dug the well is also well effective on the well. So they drank the water with faith, pray with it, make their request by faith, and God answers their prayer. Those that God have answered their prayer were the ones that returned and said, Reverend, this well is not only the first CMS well, but a miracle well. That was how the name of the well was changed to Miracle Well. A lot of people, different has been coming here to get this water in larger quantity for prayer. Some also come here for special prayer. Let me draw out the water for you to see the color and also the taste of the water. Now I want to draw water from Miracle Well. Yes, this is Miracle Well. Wow, I need a miracle.
The water is neat.
Very neat. Let me have a taste of it. Wow.
Let me taste the
I'm coming. Ah. Wow. How does it taste?
Tasteless.
Tasteless. Let me take more. Let me take more. Oh, what will you tell the viewers?
From my experience here, I've tasted this water. I want to tell you, this is the cleanest water in Badagry, and this water is tasteless. And with my faith, I believe what I've been asking for, that I've tasted from this water, I will receive my own miracle. And I want to encourage the viewers to also visit the first story building, so they taste from the miracle.
From miracle way as well. There are so many miracles. There are so many testimony behind this way. The funny part about this water was that this water have traveled England,
wow.
While I'm still here in Nigeria. You see, let me share this testimony with you. One old grandma visited here with her colleagues, and I was the one that took them. And I told the grandma, "Ma, this water is a miracle. Are you kidding me?" I said, "Ma, yes. You have healing power. If you believe, it will surely do miraculous things in your life." And the woman said she has a daughter that has gotten married for 15 years in England, that she have not gotten any fruit of womb. And the woman took the water. Said, "I will take this water to England for my daughter by faith, to take this water. But I believe that God will do something miraculous in her life." The woman did so, took the water in England, and the following year, she traveled back to this place and said, "Reverend, come and see what you have done." I said, "What have I done again? I always offend people. What have I done? Have you been offended again?" He said, "No. I can't recognize you because I do attend to many visitors here." So she explained herself. Said, "See, this is the baby that this water and God have brought about. I took this water to England for my daughter, and God answers her prayer." We have a lot of testimonies. Even Muslims were also using this water for prayer. I have many Muslim clerics that also visited this place, took the water to the monks, for the people who came to Asadatu to come and pray, and they also returned here for testimony. Let's go to the spot of where the church was built. So we are going to the spot of where the very first CMS church was built in Badagry, here in Nigeria, in 1843. This was the spot of the church. We just did this to indicate that this was where the church was then. If you go with the picture inside that, the one you have seen, you will see that the church is much bigger than this. So we just indicate this to know that this was where the church was erected. And you can also see water. People always bring water here for prayer, believing that anytime they drop water, their faith always attached to it, and God answers their prayer. People come from different dimensions to come and pray as well here, believing that this is a holy ground where the first missionaries have worked and lived. Thank you. God bless you. We also have other signposts where the first Western education started. That is schoolmaster's house over there. That's where the first school started in 1843, named Nursery of the Infant Church. And also the body house. The body house over here, this was the body house was erected. So this was where the body house was erected as at then. So thank you very much. Once again, you're welcome to very first story building in Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Reverend. We are so glad to be part of this history, and I've learned a lot today.
Yeah.
I believe our viewers have also learned a lot from what they've seen and heard. And I must confess that I'm privileged to see the first English Bible that landed in Nigeria, and also the first Yoruba Bible that was translated by Bishop
Ajayi
Ajayi Crowther. I want to say thank you for this knowledge and for the experience here in the first story building in Nigeria, built in 1845. We pray the good Lord continue to bless your work here.
Amen.
And more testimonies will be coming in.
Amen.
As people visit and at the taste for the miracle water. They will share their testimony, and I pray that the testimonies will lead people more to Christ, which
Amen.
is the reason for this
Celebration.
celebration. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Bless you.